Good morning, folks. So I hope you got on okay with the stuff last lesson, and we will be doing some more stuff that I'll feed back on you with later on in the week. But right now we are going to have a quick little starter, followed by finishing off those scale drawing stuff that we had last time. So we use the same resources as that, and then when we've done that, hopefully we should have some time to have another little look at what happens when you change between different sorts of square units and some of those sorts of problems that will arise from that. Right, here's today's problem, quite a simple one, but it's about getting your arithmetic right and coming up with a good method to make sure you don't make a mistake. So very often there's quite a lot of stuff in the maths foundation paper, a lot of difficult questions, but there's also some easy ones and whenever you do know how to do something, you've got to make sure you get it right. So you need to pay the 36 pence and then work out how much money you've got left over. Pause the video, see what you get, and then see if you agree with me. So I need 36 pence, so I'm going to start with 20p. I'm just going to cross that out. 10p, that makes 30. I need another 6, 5 and 1. Right, so the rest of it is all money that I've got left over. So I'm going to cut it out. Right, I've got £2 there. I've got a 50p. I've got 20s. I've got 2 20s make 40. 1, 2, 3 10s make 30. Oh, there's a pound I missed there, isn't there? There are, then what are we down to? 5 pences. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 5s are 20. Then we've got 2s. 1, 2. 2 2s are 4. And then we've got 1, 2, 2 pennies. And I can be pretty sure I've got them all because I crossed them out as I went. And now I just need to add those up. 0, 0, 0. 4 add 2 is 6. 5 add 4 is 9. Add 3 is 12. Add 2 is 14. Carry the 10. So that's a pound there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So £4.46. Right, here's question 5. So you will need a ruler. Now it may be that our printers may end up, sometimes they print things off very, very slightly differently. So you might not have the exact same measurements, but as long as you do the same calculations, and you do those calculations really, that's what's important. We're going to do it without a calculator. So if you have got slightly different distances, I want you to do the working without a calculator, and then you can use a calculator to check whether or not you've got it right. So the real distance between town A and B in kilometres if the scale is 1 to 50,000. Pause the video and give it a go and see if you agree with this. So I have got from the middle of the X to there is definitely, for me, that's 6.3 centimetres. So I'm going to, a scale of 1 to 50,000 means this is 50,000 times smaller. So I'm going to be timesing it by 50,000 to find out how many centimetres it is. And then I'm going to have to convert into kilometres. So first of all, I'm going to do 6.3 times 50,000. So there's different ways you could do this. I could do this by, and I think I'm going to do it by timesing by double it, 100,000, and then dividing by 2. Because if I times by 100,000, that is shifting the digit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is 6, 3 with 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. I then need to halve that. 2 into 6 goes 3 with nothing over. 2 into 3 goes once with 1 remainder. 2 into 10 goes 5. And then we've got all of these. So I've got 315,000 centimetres between town A and town B. Now I don't know off my head how to go straight from centimetres to kilometres, so I am going to go from centimetres to metres. 100 centimetres equals 1 metre. So I need to get to the, because I need 100 in every one, I need to divide by 100. And that's going to knock 2 of those zeros off, isn't it? 3,150 metres. I should say that's going to move the digits across 2 places. So 3,150 metres. Now 1,000 metres are in 1 kilometre. So we need to divide by 1,000 and we get 3.15 kilometres that we can write down there. The second part then is finding the real distance between town A and town C in kilometres. So now that I've done that, you can definitely pause the video and give it a go. So I got 4.9 for A to C. So we're going to be doing the same thing again. So 4.9 times 100,000 equals 49 with 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros on it. Then we're going to divide that by 2. Goes twice, goes 4 times into 9 with 1 left over, and 5 into 10. So we've got 245,000 centimetres. 245,000 centimetres equals, divide by, I don't know why I wrote 10 up there, I should have written 100. I did divide it by 100. Divide this by 100, it's going to shift it like that to give us 2,450 metres, and then divide by 1,000 to get to kilometres, gives us 2.45 kilometres. Okay, new question, just all in words. So pause the video and give it a go. So a model car has a length of 8 centimetres. The scale is 1 to 50, which means it's 50 times smaller than it should be. So to find out the real size of the car, we need to multiply it by 50. So 8 times 50. Well, 5 eighths are 40. So 58 will be 10 times bigger than that, 400. So it's 400 centimetres. Every metre is 100 centimetres. Therefore, 400 divided by 100 gives us 4 metres. That's all we need for that one. Question 7. Pause the video, give this one a go. So everything's going to be 50,000 times smaller than in reality. The distance between the points on the map is 10 centimetres. So the reality will be 10 times 50,000, which is 500,000 centimetres. So there are 3 marks for this question. You'd get 1 mark for working that out, and then the other 2 marks are for getting it to kilometres. If you get it to metres, that will get you another mark. So 100 centimetres equals 1 metre. So for that reason, we're going to divide by 100, which is going to knock 2 of the zeros off in effect, isn't it? 5,000 metres. And then because there's 1,000 metres in every kilometre, we're going to divide that number by 1,000, which means knocking off those 3 zeros, and we're left with exactly 5 kilometres. Question 8, very similar to question 6. The only difference is it's going to be slightly trickier maths that you're going to do. So pause the video, give it a go. So first of all, everything is 380 times smaller, so you've got to times the 20 by 380 to get up to the real size. So 380 times 20. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 8 is 16, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So that gives us 7,600 centimetres. So that gets you 1 mark, and then you need to convert it to metres by remembering that 100 centimetres is 1 metre. Divide by 100 gives us 76 metres. That's quite a big plane. Final question then, question 9. Pause the video and give this one a go. Right, so we've got to multiply 12 by 75,000, or 75,000 by 12. So if I times it all by 2, 5 times 2 is 10, 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15, and then times the whole thing by 10 means we're going 1, 2, 3, 5 and 7. If you don't like that method, by the way, you can always just do 10 and 2 and times that by your 75,000. That way would give you 750,000 and your 150,000, which you could then add in columns in the same way. Either way, we're going to get the same total. 5 add 5 is 10, 7 add 1 add 1 is 9, so that is 900,000 centimetres. 3 marks here because we've got to turn it to metres and then kilometres. So if we divide by 100, that gives us 9,000 metres, and then we divide by 1,000, because 1,000 metres in a kilometre gives us exactly 9 kilometres. Right, we're going to finish off with this problem here. It's going to make us think a bit. What's the area of the lawn? But before you know, I have actually drawn all of this to scale, but it's going to be difficult for you to measure. So I'm just going to add some dimensions on for you now. So here we go. We've got all of these various dimensions put on here. It's possible to work out what the individual bits for the lawn are, but there's no need. And this is what I'd like you to think about. Sometimes, instead of working out the area that you're given, that you want, work out the easy ones that you can do easily. So you've got a big rectangle that is the whole of the garden. So my first question to you is, what is the area of the garden? Just do that first of all. Pause the video and have a go. Right, now the garden is a rectangle, so it's length times width, isn't it? The length is 8 plus 7 is 15, and the width is 10. So that is 150 square meters. Now, what is, if I can work out the area of the flower bed and the area of the vegetable patch, add those together and then take it away from 150, what I have left could be this. And sometimes in exam questions you can have really horrible shapes. You think, I've got no way of working it out. You don't have to. You work out all the easy ones that you can do and take them away, and what you're left with is what you want. So first of all, the flower bed. How do you do the area of a triangle? Pause the video, give it a go. So it's base times width over height. Now in this case the base is actually at the top, because the important thing is they've got a rectangle between them, a right angle, sorry. So the area of this is going to be base is 4 times 8 divided by 2. I could just halve one of these first, do the halving first. 4 fours are 16 would give me 16 meters squared for the flower bed. How about the vegetable patch? We know what sort of shape is the vegetable patch. That pair of parallel sides tells us it's a trapezium. It's a special sort of trapezium, one called a right-angled trapezium, because the vertical height is this side down here. So remember, it's a half a plus b times the height. Pause the video and give that a go. So you should have a half. 3 plus 7 are your ones, and then that's going to be times by 10. Oh, h by 10, because the height is 10. So that's going to be a half of 3 plus 7 is 10, and that times by 10. So half of 10 is 5, times 10 is 50 square meters. So the flower bed is 16, the veg patch is 50, add those together gives you 66, so the lawn is going to equal 150, the whole garden, take away the vegetable patch and the flower bed. 6 from 0 you can't do, borrow from the tens. 6 from 10 is 4, 6 from 4 you can't do, take the 100 over, 6 from 14 is 8. So the lawn is 84 meters squared. But I've got one more question for you. What is that in square centimeters? How do we do that? Well, first of all, think about how many square centimeters in a meter squared. So a meter squared, if we call that as our meter, all I want you to do is write down how many centimeters make a meter, and it's 100, so this is our 1 square meter, and 100 centimeters there. So the area of our 1 square meter is going to be 100 times 100, which is 10,000. That means every single square meter is 10,000 square centimeters. So what we need to do with the 84 is multiply it by 10,000, and that would give us 840,000. Got 4 zeros there, so just going to add 4 on there. 840,000 square centimeters. What if I asked you how many square millimeters? Well, think about 1 meter, and 1 meter, 1 square meter is 1,000 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters, so 1 square meter is 1,000 millimeters times 1,000 millimeters, and 1,000 times 1,000 is 1,000,000 millimeters squared. So if I wanted it in square millimeters, it would be 84 million. So that is 6 zeros after. And one other annoying thing they might ask you is, what would it be in kilometers squared? Now that is a little dicier, because then if we're thinking about our 1 square kilometer, well, yeah, 1 square meter, it's probably easier to think about a kilometer. 1 kilometer squared is going to be 1,000 meters by 1,000 meters. So 1 square kilometer is 1,000,000 square meters. So if a square kilometer is 1,000,000 times bigger, it needs 1,000,000 of these. So we would have to divide 84 by 1,000,000, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for our decimal point. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros before we can stick the 84 in there for square kilometres. So hope that's given you something to think about, and see you tomorrow for a bit more lovely maths.